don't really want to get into this like too much because I don't know all of the particulars, but I know enough and I've been following it. The least followed sport, or least followed story in sport, is this story about Michigan's team doctor, a guy named Dr. Anderson. I mean, have you seen this story? Like, what are we doing? Like, this story is such that this team doctor had abused, apparently, athletes for years and years and years. Now, I don't know I do know the particulars. One of them is doing the colon test, the finger in the, for guys and gals. I don't know whether that was right to do or not as a doctor. I have no idea. None. Zero zip. But what I do know is that the University of Michigan, listen to this, paid out $490 million to people who say they were sexually assaulted by Robert Anderson, a former team doctor. This isn't even a blip on anybody's radar. And it was for a minute when some of the athletes said, well, you know what, Bo Schembechler said, screw it. He was the football coach at the time and a legendary grouch. The football coach said, screw it, hey, just keep, what are you talking about? Be a man. Look, I don't know, but I do know this, man. I know that this doctor was there 37 years. He died in 2008. Michigan, it was, now I knew this was coming. I remember talking to Tom Izzo about this. Here's the thing about these kind of things. Like, I don't know how they end up getting reported. Did you know that Larry Nassar deal, it was going on at Michigan State, and the Larry Nassar case, the Olympic doctor, the Michigan State doctor, got broke by the Indy Star. Here's one of the most dangerous things in college sports about abuse. The local media and Michigan State's media is so freaking embedded in Michigan State. I mean, Michigan State's media kisses the ass of the entire athletic program at Michigan State. So where did these victims have to go from the Larry Nassar? They knew they couldn't go to the local media, so one of them ended up reaching out to a reporter at the Indy Star. Now, at that time, the Indy Star was great. Maria Kwiatkowski, Tim Evans, Mark Alicia. But here's the deal. You get these colleges with these coaches, and the local media covers up for them. The local media sucks up to them. The local media hides stuff. And athletes know it. I was an athlete at Indiana, and I knew this. If I had any kind of problem, and I would have never done this because it didn't even dawn on me, but I look back on it, I'm like, had I ever had a real problem, there's no way I'd have gone to Bob Hamill at the Bloomington Herald-Times. There's no way folks at Michigan would go to the local reporters. There's no way the young ladies, the victims in the Michigan State Larry Nassar deal, would ever go to the local media because these guys are so in pocket. I mean, they are so in pocket with Michigan State and Michigan and Indiana. Now, it is fascinating. And I think it's changing now because I honestly don't think we need the traditional media anymore. I don't think we need the Indy Star anymore. We don't need I don't read it ever. But man, oh man, I'm telling you, as a basketball player at Indiana, if I had a real problem and I wanted to expose it, there ain't no way in hell I'm going to Bob Hamill. Bob Hamill's next call would have been to Bob Knight. And it's the same thing with these guys at Michigan. It's the same thing with these young ladies. The media is complicit in all of this because how far up the ass of these local athletic programs they are. I got a little off topic here. Let me go to something else. A part owner of the Golden State Warriors, Chamath Palihapitiya, he's backtracking after saying nobody cares about human rights violations suffered in the Uyghur people at the hands of Chinese authority. Here's what he said. He said nobody cares about the Uyghur genocide. You bring it up because you really care. This is in a podcast he was doing. And I think it's nice that you care. The rest of us don't care. I'm just telling you a very hard, ugly truth. Of all the things that I care about, yes, it is below my line. Look, if that's the way he feels, then good for him. You know, if that's the way he feels, that's the way he feels. What do you want me to tell you? He did say that he has other human rights violations that are on his thing. So good. You feel that way, great. But we also can say that there's consequences to taking those feelings and putting them out. I don't know what's going to happen. This guy's a billionaire. Nothing's going to happen to him, but I'll tell you what it did. It absolutely exposed the bullshit that is the NBA media. Remember this, it's more than basketball. It's a bunch of crap. I haven't seen any of these folks. I haven't seen any, none, zero. Has Jalen Rose said a word about it? Jalen Rose on the court talking about things, actually lying about things that happened in, I forget which murder it was. Have we heard anything from Malika Andrews? Have we heard anything from anybody? Anybody in the NBA? Where's Woj? Woj, baby, where are you? They're full of shit. And they always have been, they always will be. The answer to all of this is we have absolutely heard nothing from these people. You won't hear anything from these people. The NBA is so in pocket with its media, and I've told you this for years. There is no media that wants to be part of the scene like NBA media. They're all full of shit. More than basketball, my ass. They're opportunists. They know that there's money in this, particularly racial divide. Where's Jay Williams? Jay Williams always talks to you like he's such a sensitive kid. Where is he? At least we know where NBA folks stand. At least we know where NBA folks are. At least we know, or you're starting to know. I mean, a lot of you are so blinded. But where are they? I don't know. Where are they? I don't know. But you know they're not coming. You stand on a court and make up lies about a murder like Jalen Rose did. I don't think anybody expects anything out of you other than complete bullshit. The whole thing is a fraud. Remember when Wojnarowski went and he told the sitting senator, fuck you, in an email? That tells you all you need to know. It was about NBA issues. I mean, these folks are so full of... Where's LeBron James? I don't see LeBron James. You know who is the absolute conscience of this country, and nobody knows it but me? Bobby Barack. Bobby's one of the writers here. Bobby is fearless. Bobby is unafraid. Bobby will simply tell you the way it is. I don't see Stephen A. Smith talking about this. I don't see Woj. I don't see whoever the hell Malika Andrews is. Now, she took over because the white lady, Rachel Nichols, said something mean, and Maria Taylor held it for a year, and people got fired behind the scenes because they didn't handle it. I mean, what a bunch of crap. I haven't heard a word. Is it more than basketball? Or is it only opportunist? Is it only we're going to lie? ESPN, Dave Roberts not going to do nothing. Dave Roberts in pocket with all these guys. Dave Roberts thinks Jalen Rose is really cool. He's the guy that runs the NBA for ESPN. He took over for a guy named Michael Schiffman. Michael Schiffman is the epitome of go woke, get broke. Michael Schiffman got demoted from that. He's still over college basketball. But these people are so full of shit, and next time they start pontificating on anything, they're opportunists. That's it. I mean, is it really more than basketball? Shouldn't the NBA care? I don't know whether they should or not. I don't think sports should solve all of our ills. But if you're taking all the money and you're promoting yourself like you are over in China, at least you ought to have an involvement. Or, you know, don't shove it down our throat that you're so caring about all the stuff going on and it's more than basketball. Hey, look, I don't care what you do. I really don't. You do whatever you want. And you know, ESPN didn't say one word about it. They posted an AP story. Like, I don't care whether you do or you don't. Just be honest about it. If you do, great. If you don't, great. But be honest about what the hell you're doing here. That's an owner, a part owner. And furthermore, that's the way, see, dudes that make money like this guy made, I was part of Facebook and AOL. A brilliant guy, I'm sure, this owner. I'm a venture capitalist. He found a way to make money. But that's what people really think. They can stand up in front of a camera and bullshit you about whatever. But I'm telling you, that's what they really think. Everybody, and I don't know if this is a bad thing, is into themselves. And this guy at least said it out loud. I care about, yeah, it's really below my line. Oh, okay. Hey, I ain't asking you to care about it. I ain't asking you to publicly say anything about it. But when you come out and tell people they don't care about it, I'll tell you who does care about it, Ennis Cantor Freedom. People say nobody cares. Ennis Cantor Freedom cares. Ennis Cantor Freedom's been attacked by all sides. You know who the most feared guy in the NBA is? It ain't LeBron James in the playoffs. It's Ennis Cantor Freedom. I mean, all these guys you see on TV, you know, the one lady that makes faces, Legler, name a guy, name a girl, they're all afraid of Ennis Cantor Freedom because Ennis Cantor Freedom does not care. And it's the most beautiful way. It's the way I am. I don't care. What are you going to do, write another article, say I'm a bad guy? Good. What a load of crap from these NBA frauds, and they're all frauds. Every person there is a fraud. Jalen Rose wears fake glasses. Good for Jalen Rose. All right, let's see what else we got. In a completely who gives a shit story, but I had to write something last night. Mike Tomlin says all options are open at the quarterback spot for the Steelers. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't even care about that one. Nick Saban gets involved in politics. Look, I did some research. I looked at things on this voter bill. The Freedom to Vote Act. Okay, well, Saban wants the Freedom to Vote Act passed. One of the problems with the Freedom to Vote Act is when you go to a polling place, you show an ID, and they're saying that's all you really kind of have to do when you vote by mail. I mean, let's be honest. If you think Joe Biden got more votes than any sitting president ever, you're out of your freaking mind. And don't tell me that voter fraud doesn't happen. I grew up in Northwest Indiana. I grew up following elections in Chicago with the old Mayor Daley. I have friends, and I've told you this before, that are actually on the lam in Greece because they bought votes. Don't tell me this crap doesn't happen. I don't know what's so difficult about this. Here's very simple. You go to a polling place, you vote. I don't know the answer to whether or not you should show more ID, not more ID, but you got to show some ID. I mean, if a 59-year-old man, me, yesterday went in to buy a bottle of wine at the Kroger and I got to show ID, I think you ought to have to show an ID when you vote. I mean, it just makes sense to me. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we can act however you want to act. You can act like, well, and if somebody doesn't have the ability to go and get an ID, then I got to tell you, how about going and doing it? How about if you want to vote, that's something for your country. How about going to get an ID? And I know everybody's got different circumstances. I understand it. But to me, if I got to show an ID to go get tickets to a baseball game that are left for you at will call, it seems to me you should have to show an ID. The filibuster part's interesting. They left out the part that Saban, they made a big deal about the old coach. The old coach wants West Virginia and Joe Manchin to get passage going. When the old coach speaks, let's go. Old coach, my ass. Let me tell you what the old coach should do. The old coach should just go play golf in the offseason, wear your idiotic hat, and win a national championship. That's the way I look at the world. But I do say this. I do say that you got to show an ID, people. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, hey, you can crush me all you like. Call me any kind of is that you like. I don't care. But you got to show a freaking ID if you're going to vote. Honest to God. Swear to God. Hey, look, you don't need to show what? I got to show an ID to go get a baseball ticket. Or the other day, actually, where did we go? Lee and I were somewhere. We went to Will Call to pick up tickets. And we had to show an ID to get tickets. Seems like you'd have to show an ID to vote. I'm not lying. I don't get it. Like, I honestly don't. And you can call me any kind of ist that you like. I don't care. But if you think that's being an ist, then God bless you. But son of a bitch, show an ID. All right. This strikes right at me. And I wanted to talk about this for a minute. And people probably aren't paying attention to this. Rest in peace, bullpen catcher of the Rays, Jean Ramirez. Now, look, when I look at the world, I know for a fact, I don't know what killed Jean Ramirez. I don't know what's in his back. I have no idea. But I do know this. If something drives you to suicide, it is either really bad and you feel bad in your past, or depression is so bad for whatever the reason. Now, I've had real depression. I've had real depression, and it is terrible. Nobody can talk to you about it. Nobody can just say, hey, let's go, get your ass going. Nobody can tell you, hey, get your ass off the pillow. I had it when I was coaching. I've told you this before. My father always said, look, you're going to die if you ever lose as a coach. He didn't want me to go into coaching, and he was right. He knew how competitive I was. Well, over the course of time at Bowling Green, when we lost four of our best players my last 2 years, three of them, and then a fourth, and I was playing with football players, we weren't going to win, and I knew it, and it literally almost killed me. Depression is real. Not being able to get your head off the pillow is something that I fought. Not getting your head off the pillow doesn't mean you're weak. It means something has got a hold of you that is impossible to explain. And if you know somebody like that, and you know somebody, don't just tell them, you know what, get your head, let's go. You wish it was that easy. And you wish it was one of those deals where it was like, hey, this is something that you can just beat. There's a national hotline. It's called 800-273-8255. It's a national suicide hotline, national suicide prevention hotline. I'm telling you, if you have it and you know you have it, get to a doctor, get to the hotline. I'm telling you, I didn't understand it. All I knew is I couldn't get my head off a pillow. All I knew is I slept on a couch, not a bed, because I could roll over and hit the ground. And I was good through the course of the day. Nobody would ever know it. But when I hit that pillow, I couldn't get up. It stays with you every minute of every day. Now, you function, you do your stuff, nobody really knows. But I'm telling you, if you have it and you know you have it, go to your doctor. I did not know this. I'm on Lexapro right now. I didn't know it. My doctor, a really good friend of mine, Dr. Larry Rink, one of the great doctors in this country. He's been the Olympic doctor. He's fantastic. You know, I was going through a divorce, whole life change. He's like, hey, let me help you here. There's something called Lexapro. You know, whatever you take, but it's really helped me. And don't mess around with this. Please. 800-273-8255. All right. Last thing, the Pfizer CEO says COVID's going to be over in the spring. Good. That's weird from a Pfizer CEO. I mean, I figured he would be telling us to get 87 different shots. You know, I hate to say this, but to me, COVID's over. I mean, I wear my mask where I'm told to. I went to Indiana game, I wear my mask. I go to work every day, I wear my mask. I do what I'm told, but to me, it's over. You know, every family member of mine had the Omicron, or whatever the hell you call it. How is this a disease that you don't go test for, or excuse me, you don't go to the doctor for, and you don't even know when it's gone? Anyway, the Pfizer CEO said that, and I thought that was interesting.